I see many people getting stuck here, and for the next couple of weeks, we are going to be talking about money, or should I say funding, where you can find the right funding, how funding is structured, and all of these things, because we've just been getting a lot of questions coming through around this. And the first question that we decided to talk about here is, what is the minimum deposit required for a home loan in South Africa? Don't switch off, because it's such an easy question, but it's got many aspects to it. So allow me to go through into it. If we are meeting for the first time, my name is TJ, your host, and I'm a former banker and founder here at the TJ Tribe. And I do business with a focus in student accommodation, flips, which is buy and sell, and coaching, with the hope that all of us, as young, upcoming modern parents, we can be able to have passive income from real estate. Welcome to the channel. We get to speak about these things because, number one, I'm an ex-banker, so I understand some of these bank products. And then number two, I'm also in the real estate space, and within that, I marry that with my knowledge, and I get to explain these things to you guys so that all of us, we can be educated and we can be better parents, and hopefully we can be able to earn some alternative income. Many people, I'm going to say this, many people come to me and say to me, TJ, I qualify for 1 million rand. And I ask them the question, so how much cash do you have? Many a times people say less than 30,000 or 50,000. So I'm like, okay, you qualify for all this amount of money, but you actually don't have nothing. You can't do anything because if the bank is to ask you for a deposit, that deal is going to fall away. Later on, you actually don't have money for simple things like legal fees. So you can't even borrow this. I met someone the other day who qualifies for 5 million rand. And they had less than 50,000 to their name. So I want to urge you, I think takeaway number one within this conversation that we are having today is, how best can you accumulate some money, but we are talking it in the sense of this deposit that we are talking about. So I'm going to give you some typical deposit requirements in South Africa at large. If you're buying a property in your personal capacity, which we don't advocate for, but people still do it, typically the standard deposit is anything between 10% to 20%, right? So that's a given. You can jump onto any of these websites, apps, Standard Bank, they will show you that that's what they need. Now, there is some benefits for you to add in a deposit as and when you're buying a property, and I'll come back and explain to that. But what does this 10%, 20% mean? It basically means, my good friends, if you're buying a property worth 1 million, you do need 100,000 available to you. Some of you are like, yo, TJ, oh, okay. Maybe in the wrong space, but property dictates that you do need some cash. But there is some deals that we can do with no money down deals. Opportunities, they are there, but not all the time. Again, I'm still speaking to the individual. I said we do not advocate for you to buy properties in your personal name, but some of you do. So I'm gonna just give you how to do it, isn't it? The second one is that the banks, each bank year on year, which means that the criteria for last year might not be the same criteria for this year. So we need to be acquainted with that. So the bank specific criteria is that ABSA might just say their criteria, remember we said it's between 10 to 20%, right? ABSA may just say on a personal level they're doing 15%, and that's just blanket. And then they will assess further based on the individual. Or they may say that they will do anything 15% and below to anyone who is their client, or they may say 30% and above to anyone who is not their client. It is called their credit vetting process. So they dictate that based on where they are wanting to go. I feel like FNB been doing that for of late, but nonetheless. So here we go. Still talking about the personal space. In your personal circumstance, you could potentially get up to zero deposit. I have seen that. It is possible. Many people have done that in the past. So it's very much possible, my friend, so for you to acquire a zero deposit. So the bank is giving you 100%. Sometimes the bank has even given, they've given all the way to 105%, covering some of the other things. Back in the days, I think in the 90s, you could borrow even on your legal fees. Yeah, that used to happen. Well, the good old days. Yeah. I never lived some of those good old days. Now, I want to give you benefits of putting in a deposit. There is benefits. If you do have the cash, consider to put a deposit in your as and when you are buying. The first one is obviously simple. It is obviously going to lower your monthly repayment. That's the simple part of it. But what I do is that I then also see, okay, fine, if I'm to pay this deposit, and now I am now having a lower monthly payment, but what's the return on my money? That's something that we do here at the school. For some of you, in the coming month, we are going to be having our school on a Saturday and Sunday. Come to school, learn. The second benefit is that the bank may consider a better interest rate for you. If you're putting in a hefty deposit, the bank favors such kind of people because obviously they've got equity on their book, so they are favorable to those people. Also, it then goes naturally to say it increases your approval process, right? Because there is a huge sum of money. So you're saying I'm putting in skin in the deal here, and they are also saying, okay, so we see you put in some skin in the deal. Okay, so we will also jump on board with you. That's the bottom end of it. Now, I've spoken about the individual. Let's come back and speak about a company. Here at the TJ Tribe, we are always advocating for people to buy real estate in businesses, in a company, because of the many benefits that there is that we have been talking about here for as long as we've been having videos here. We've been talking about that. Now, the benefits are the same, so I'm not going to rehash that. Ne? You got that. So I'm not going to talk about that. But I'm going to come back to the deposit. So how much deposit do you need if it is a company? So if it is a company, my good friends, by default, whether this company started yesterday trading or it's been trading for a while, many banks, the standard deposit is round about 20%, right? That's what they kind of like go with. In some cases, it comes down to around about 20. If it is your bank, you got a little bit of mileage flowing in there. Have I ever had an approval for 100% in a company? Yes. So it is also possible. So which means that zero deposit. Make sense? Okay, good stuff. So standard, we said it is anything between in the personal space between 10 to 20. What about in a company? Also between 10 to 20, but I see it more around playing around the 20% there. So that's what a company is. Now, what about earlier on we spoke about the specific deposit that is mentioned with a bank. What am I seeing? So I'm seeing that a lot of the banks are raising a deposit of anything between 10 to as far as 30%. Now, my good friends, I've been talking about all of this in relation to you who are in South Africa. So me and you, we are staying in South Africa. We are South African citizens, or you've got a permanent resident, or you've got some kind of a permit to stay in South Africa. These are the requirements for a deposit. TJ, what about if I am a foreigner and I'm not even in South Africa? Well, the deposit requirements are totally different. The deposit now, the standard is 50%. So if you're a foreigner, you are from wherever you are from the USA, you are from Abuja, you are from our surrounding countries in and around Southern Africa or in Europe, basically the bank is saying that, hey, you need your 50% deposit. It's a law that is there in South Africa. Then the rest, they will fund you. Does that make sense, my good friends? I hope that this is adding value to you. So, having said that, the other thing that I want us to talk about, my good friends who are South African born, but you tested outside. Ne? Now you're married to American, and now you're married to an English woman, or maybe you are the woman and your husband is from another country, right? And you are not specifically actually staying in the country. The banks again looks at you as a foreigner. Oh, TJ, hey, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just the messenger here. I'm just telling you what they say. TJ, we don't qualify seriously 100%. My good friends, my name is TJ. I'm your friend. I'm just here to help you. So as a foreigner, or you are a South African married to a foreigner, they are saying that for that reason that you're married to a foreigner, the two of you now, when you are applying for credit, you will be regarded in the foreign law because of this other person that you now have, especially if you're not staying in the country. And they would then deploy up to 50%. So they kind of like consider you as a foreigner. I hope this has added some value to you, my good friends. Let me know in the comments. But I do think that if we understand some of these things, we can be able to make some wiser decisions so that we can grow our alternative income. So where can you get this deposit from? I think that's the next question that everybody wants to ask. TJ, where can we get this? From your savings. You can save some money. I know that debt is not for everybody. I think this conversation that we're going to have, this is a debt conversation. So we started today, we're talking about deposit, but you're obviously borrowing some money, right? So this is a debt conversation that I want us to have. I know debt is not for everybody, and that's okay. So let's buy what you can with whatever that you can afford with your cash. But for some of us who are playing in the debt space where we are borrowing money and we're getting richer and richer with that, this is how you can do it. So your deposit, you can work hard, you can sell some stuff, and you can get some bonus money. There's many ways in which you can be able to save for your deposit money. Or you can club up with others as well. That's a very common solution. So my friends, as and when you're looking for real estate, remember, this deposit thingy is important and we all need it. So until we see each other again on the next video, let me know what you think in the comments. Until then, enjoy the next video.